The tale unfolds with two boys engaged in a heated dispute with none other than Shoei Yusami. Abruptly, a towering and menacing figure named Rintaro Tsumugi intervenes in the conversation, casting an imposing presence. Witnessing Rintaro's arrival, the other boys hastily retreat, cowering in his intimidating shadow. Shoei, clearly agitated, lashes out at Rintaro for consistently seeking confrontations with others. Rintaro offers an explanation for his behavior, recounting an incident from the previous night where he witnessed a couple quarreling. The girls slapped the guy, evoking sympathy from Rintaro. However, when he approached the distressed individual, he inexplicably bolted away. In the midst of their conversation, a group of girls from Kikyo school strolls by. One of the girls accidentally drops her handkerchief, prompting Shoei to pick it up and attempt to return it. To his dismay, the girls shoot him ominous glares and declare, "We don't need it, not after you touched it." It becomes evident that the girls harbor a strong aversion toward Shoei and his companions. The root cause of this animosity lies in the stark divide between Kikyo Private Academy, an esteemed institution for young ladies, and Chidori Public High School, a lower-ranked establishment where, as the narrative puts it, morons come to gather. After school, Shoei invites Rintaro to join them for karaoke, but Rintaro declines, revealing a hidden aspect of his life. His family owns a cake shop, and he occasionally assists them after school. Inside the cafe, Rintaro encounters a charming female customer, Kaoruko Waguri, who happens to be a student at Kikyo High School. When Rintaro's gaze meets hers, she becomes visibly flustered. Eager to address the situation, Rintaro is taken aback as Waguri abruptly stands up and flees without uttering a word. Rintaro, feeling responsible for her sudden departure, confides in his mother. She consoles him, assuring him that it may not be his fault and speculating that Waguri might have had urgent business to attend to. The following day at school, Rintaro remained agitated by the events of the previous day. He refrained from engaging with anyone and headed straight home after classes. While brooding alone in his room, his mom burst in, urgently announcing that Waguri-san was at the cafe and wanted to talk to him. Startled by the news, Rintaro swiftly made his way to the cafe. Upon meeting, Waguri expressed her desire to treat Rintaro for the events of the day before. A heavy silence lingered between them for a few moments until Waguri, breaking the tension, apologized for her sudden departure and extended a cake as a gesture of apology. Observing Waguri's intense interest in the cake, Rintaro, in turn, offered it back to her. Initially hesitant, Waguri eventually succumbed to temptation and indulged in the sweet treat. Waguri renewed her apology, revealing that she had been flustered by Rintaro's sudden appearance when no one else was around. She introduced herself and inquired about Rintaro's name. As the two exchanged pleasantries, Rintaro couldn't shake the perplexing feeling of why Waguri seemed so interested in him. Waguri sensed Rintaro's confusion and clarified that she had noticed him around before the incident. She had seen him helping out from time to time. However, yesterday marked the first time a boy had stared at her so intently, making her heart flutter. Rintaro, taken aback, struggled to comprehend the fact that, unlike others who found his gaze unsettling, Waguri felt a sense of excitement. Collecting himself, Rintaro offered to escort Waguri home as the evening descended, demonstrating a newfound connection between them. Waguri walked alongside him, and in a moment of candor, she acknowledged that she understood he might have thought she ran away the previous day due to his intimidating appearance. To Rintaro's astonishment, she confessed that she felt none of the fear he anticipated. This revelation left Rintaro in disbelief, as he had been accustomed to enduring the judgments and criticisms of others since childhood. For the first time, someone treated him differently, and it was a revelation that stirred deep emotions within him. Abruptly, Rintaro's mom burst into his room, urgently informing him that Waguri had ordered a cake to take home, but it had been found abandoned outside the shop. Concerned for Waguri's well-being, she implored Rintaro to check if she had safely made it back home. Without a moment's hesitation, Rintaro dashed outside to search for Waguri. Suddenly, he encountered two boys, engaged in a confrontation with Shoei, who were taunting Waguri in maligning Rintaro himself. As they began spreading malicious rumors about Rintaro, Waguri interjected, halting them mid-sentence. She requested that they refrain from speaking unpleasantly about Rintaro based on mere rumors. This plea angered one of the boys, who clenched his fist, ready to strike Waguri. In a split second, Rintaro positioned himself between them, shielding Waguri from the impending punch. After Rintaro gave the boys a menacing look, they scurried away like frightened rats. Waguri, concerned about Rintaro's head injury, pulled him close, attempting to stanch the bleeding. However, Rintaro, flashing a smile, apologized for the scare he had caused her in the cafe. As Waguri wiped away Rintaro's blood, she expressed her bewilderment at why people were so afraid of him, emphasizing that, in her eyes, he was a kind-hearted person. Grateful for Rintaro's intervention, Waguri thanked him sincerely. This expression of gratitude caught Rintaro off guard, as he was accustomed to negativity and didn't anticipate such appreciation. Rintaro escorted Waguri to the station, and as they parted ways, she assured him that she would meet him next time she visited the cafe, suggesting they share a meal. The following day, while Rintaro sat in his classroom, he glanced out of the window. To his surprise, the curtains of a window at Kikyo school, which had always remained closed, were suddenly opened. It was Waguri on the other side. Startled, Rintaro immediately closed his side of the curtains. The shock stemmed from the realization that Waguri was not only a high schooler but also attended Kikyo High School, a revelation that shattered Rintaro's preconceived notions about her. As Rintaro took back his seat, Shoei launched into a tirade about Kikyo High School, expressing his frustration at how they were treated like an unwelcome presence. Ayato Yorita and Saku Natsusawa entered the classroom, joining the conversation, but Rintaro remained preoccupied with thoughts of Waguri. When class began, Rintaro found it challenging to focus, convinced that nothing good could come from Waguri being associated with a Chidori student, especially one from Kikyo. He contemplated whether it might be better to keep a distance from her. After school, Shoei and the others decided to go to karaoke. Exiting the school gate, Rintaro noticed Waguri waiting there. Eager to talk to her, he moved forward. However, Shoei intervened, loudly demanding to know why a Kikyo girl was present. Rintaro, taking charge, pulled Shoei back and apologized for his behavior. Shoei's disappointment was palpable, realizing that the Kikyo girl knew someone from his school. Before Rintaro could explain, two girls rushed in, swiftly pulling Waguri away from Rintaro and his friends. Misinterpreting the situation, the girls assumed that the Chidori boys were harassing Waguri. In the chaos, Waguri attempted to speak, but her words were drowned out, and she was whisked away by the concerned girls before she could clarify the situation. Bewildered by the unexpected turn of events, Rintaro decided to distance himself from Waguri. As he and his friends settled into the karaoke cafe, Saku noticed the patch on Rintaro's head and inquired about what had happened. Rintaro, taken aback by the question, hesitated. Saku continued expressing concern for Rintaro's well-being, assuring him that he could confide in his friends if anything was wrong. Contemplating whether to share the incident with Waguri, Rintaro ultimately decided against it, reassuring his friends that everything was fine and apologizing for causing them worry. After the karaoke session, Rintaro made his way to the cafe. Upon entering, Waguri cheerfully greeted him and apologized for the scene that unfolded between Chidori and Kikyo school students. Rintaro, in turn, reassured Waguri, attributing the tension to the long-standing rivalry between the two schools. Their conversation was abruptly interrupted by Rintaro's mom, who scolded Rintaro for being late. She offered Waguri a leftover cake, but Waguri declined, claiming her stomach was full. However, her stomach promptly betrayed her by audibly rumbling. Rintaro and Waguri sat down at a table to enjoy the cake. Curious about why she had been waiting outside his school, Rintaro asked Waguri, and she candidly admitted that she had wanted to see him. Flustered by his spontaneous confession, Rintaro quickly apologized to Waguri, explaining that he got so happy seeing her that the words just slipped out. Waguri blushed tomato red at his admission, and Rintaro, realizing he had spoken without thinking, attempted to clarify. He explained that he never expected a Kikyo girl to visit, especially after realizing he was a Chidori student. To his surprise, Waguri responded, "I was happy, when I found out you were a student at Chidori." With those words, she abruptly stood up, claiming she was running late. Waguri expressed her happiness about getting to know Rintaro better since they studied near each other. However, as Waguri left, Rintaro noticed a different expression on her face, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he might have unintentionally hurt her. Observing Rintaro's concerned expression, his mom approached and inquired about what happened. Rintaro shared his thoughts, explaining that Waguri wanted to see him again but seemed different from her usual self. Rintaro's mom pointed out that he was judging Waguri based on preconceived notions, much like how others judged him simply because he was from Chidori. Despite the reassurance, Rintaro remained skeptical, convinced that nothing good would come from getting closer to Waguri. The following day, Rintaro eagerly waited outside Kikyo High, anticipation pulsating through his veins. When Waguri finally arrived, he extended a heartfelt apology, acknowledging and expressing regret for any discomfort or sadness he might have caused her the previous day at the cafe. Waguri, in response, swiftly took a seat, her cheeks flushing with a blush. She reassured Rintaro that her emotions weren't tied to him, rather, there was another reason behind her expression. Empowered by Waguri's openness, Rintaro felt compelled to reciprocate her sincerity. He boldly confessed that he was exuberantly happy to see her yesterday, though the weight of school-related concerns had kept him from expressing his emotions. In response, Waguri blushed even deeper, revealing that his happiness resonated with her own joy. Seizing the opportunity to strengthen their connection, she reintroduced herself with a renewed fervor, declaring her desire to know him beyond the constraints of Kikyo or Chidori high schools. Rintaro, stunned by the depth of her words, found it difficult to comprehend the reality unfolding before him. As Rintaro retreated to his classroom, he mustered the courage to draw open the curtains. To his astonishment, there stood Kaoruko Waguri on the other side, her countenance illuminated by a radiant smile. The realization struck him, Rintaro had never envisioned that he would become a part of the vibrant world he now found himself in. As Rintaro's class kicked off, the stifling heat of summer weighed heavily on Shoei's spirits. Desperate to escape the oppressive warmth, he sought a reprieve. Rintaro, sensing an opportunity to lighten the mood, suggested engaging in some enjoyable activities during the upcoming sports day. Motivated by the prospect of fun, Rintaro and Shoei approached their teacher to discuss participation in the sports day. However, their enthusiasm was promptly quashed when the teacher informed them that they couldn't join. The reason? The headmaster's decree that students failing the midterm exams would be barred from sports day and required to take makeup tests. Given that Rintaro and Shoei had secured the lowest scores in the class, the teacher playfully teased them about their exclusion. Despite the setback, Shoei, perhaps more hopeful than realistic, assured the teacher that they would pass this time. Privately, he knew it was a nearly impossible feat. Seeking help, Shoei turned to Saku, but even his friend declined, citing the drag-down effect from their previous collaboration. Rintaro faced a similar rejection when he sought assistance from Saku. In the midst of this academic turmoil, Rintaro received a message from his mom, urging him to invite Waguri to the cafe, where a sale was underway. Eager to fulfill the request, Rintaro asked Waguri if she could join. Her response, claiming busyness, left Rintaro puzzled and somewhat disappointed by the unexpected turn of events. Abruptly, Shoei approached Rintaro with an urgent proclamation. They were heading to the library for an intense study session. Choosing the nearby library over the school, given its malfunctioning air conditioning, the duo settled in, eager to immerse themselves in their academic pursuits. However, as they delved into their studies, the material seemed utterly incomprehensible, leaving them bewildered and frustrated. Rintaro, refusing to succumb to the difficulty, declared that they weren't the sole individuals eagerly anticipating the upcoming sports day. He was confident that Saku shared their enthusiasm and suggested recruiting him for assistance to ensure victory in the sports day. Shoei wholeheartedly concurred with Rintaro's proposal and committed to bringing Saku to the library for their cause. In a display of chivalry, two girls searching for a table caught Rintaro's attention. Without uttering a word, he promptly vacated his seat for them. Opting for a bench outside, Rintaro overheard familiar voices, Waguri and her friend. Initially assuming Waguri was engrossed in exam preparations, Rintaro soon discovered that she was happily doodling in her notebook and enjoying a lively conversation. It dawned on him that this was the authentic Waguri-san, an individual who finds joy in the company of friends. However, his realization deepened as he overheard Waguri's friend praising her consistent academic excellence. The stark contrast left Rintaro grappling with the overwhelming sensation that Waguri embodied both fun and intelligence, while he, in comparison, felt like nothing more than a mere fool from Chidori High. Rintaro reclined on the bench outside the library when suddenly, Waguri approached him. Swiftly, Rintaro sat up, and she elucidated that she was certain she had seen him in the library. Feeling hungry, she had decided to venture outside for a check. Rintaro explained that he had come to study but found the textbook utterly incomprehensible. Without hesitation, Waguri delved into the problems, providing immediate assistance. She adeptly guided him through numerous challenges, leaving Rintaro overjoyed at the realization of Waguri's exceptional intelligence. Waguri proceeded to reveal that she hadn't visited the cafe that day because she was dedicating time to exam preparation and saving money from her part-time job. Rintaro was taken aback, learning that a seemingly preppy girl like Waguri worked. She clarified that, despite attending a prestigious school, she earned a scholarship, making it imperative for her to maintain stellar grades to secure her position. The revelation underscored Waguri's commitment to retaining her top-ranking status in her grade. Waguri further emphasized that, as a non-elite, gaining admission to the prestigious Kikyo Academy was a personal triumph, and she felt compelled to prove herself equal, if not superior, to her privileged peers. She expressed a deep sense of responsibility not to disappoint her father, who had granted her fervent plea to attend Kikyo High School. In the process, Waguri discovered a growing sense of pride in her achievements. As Rintaro spent more time with Waguri, he began to realize the extent of his assumptions about her. Motivated by newfound understanding, he impulsively asked Waguri for help in preparing for exams, recounting his struggle of never passing a single test since the start of school. Waguri responded with a warm smile, assuring him that he need not worry, she was committed to assisting him and would make time for joint study sessions. However, Waguri acknowledged that she had to return to her friends. When Rintaro inquired if she meant the girl in the library, Waguri revealed that there was another companion who had briefly stepped away and was likely back by now. In the midst of their conversation, a voice called out Waguri's name, and approaching them was Subaru, a friend of Waguri. Rintaro was taken aback by the sight of a girl with silver hair, a rarity he had only witnessed in movies before. Subaru, with an intense glare, confronted Rintaro, remarking that as a Chidori student, he should comprehend that he wouldn't need to associate with Waguri any longer. The icy cold stare left Rintaro speechless, struggling to find words in the face of such hostility. As Shoei and others arrived on the scene, Shoei couldn't hide his discomfort at the presence of Kikyo High School girls. Upon noticing Waguri, he leaned in for a closer look, remembering something. Rintaro, feeling protective, intervened by pushing Shoei aside, immediately realizing he had overstepped, considering Shoei wasn't that close to Waguri. Subaru, unfazed, stepped in and began dragging Waguri away, spouting derogatory remarks about Chidori students. Saku, unable to tolerate Subaru's words, retorted with a comment about her being a silver-spooned girl with silver hair, a statement that struck Subaru hard. Rintaro quickly admonished Saku, urging him not to make such comments, emphasizing that it was beneath his dignity. He clarified that he had approached Waguri to apologize for inadvertently frightening her earlier at the school gate. Shoei, recalling the incident, approached Waguri and sincerely apologized for the scare they had caused her. In response, Waguri offered her apologies for the commotion on that day, expressing her desire to apologize earlier but not having had the opportunity. Subaru, visibly shocked at Waguri apologizing to Chidori students, was urged by Waguri to extend an apology as well. However, Subaru chose to walk away without addressing the matter. Waguri once again apologized and departed from the scene, leaving Rintaro's friends bewildered about the unexpected turn of events and how Kikyo High seemed to yield to Chidori. While walking, Subaru expressed to Waguri that there was no need to apologize to Chidori boys, asserting that, in her view, all boys were the same and tended to hurt others without a second thought, especially Chidori boys. Waguri disagreed with Subaru's perspective, maintaining that Rintaro was exceptionally kind, and she believed others were not inherently bad. Despite spending a significant amount of time studying with Saku, Rintaro found himself unable to solve a single problem on his own when studying at home. Suddenly, Rintaro received a message from Waguri asking if she could call him this late. Without hesitation, Rintaro agreed and replied, "Sure." Curious, Rintaro inquired about the reason for the late-night call. Waguri explained that she wanted to discuss the events of the day, believing it would be quicker to talk on the phone than to exchange messages. She apologized for Subaru's behavior in front of Rintaro's friends, and Rintaro reciprocated with an apology on behalf of his friends. Waguri praised Rintaro for how he protected her, calling him brave. This was the first time someone had referred to Rintaro as brave, causing him to blush. Continuing the conversation, Waguri expressed that things had become somewhat strange lately, noting their growing casual interaction. She mentioned her intention to be more cautious in the future. Perplexed, Rintaro questioned why she felt the need to be more careful. Waguri clarified that she was just a customer at his cake shop, and considering anything more would be odd. She apologized if she had given any wrong impressions. Waguri then proposed meeting on Saturday at a Seijai station for studying. Rintaro agreed outwardly, but internally, he was shouting that he wanted things to remain as they were. The idea that Waguri might perceive him as just a casual acquaintance troubled him, and he couldn't comprehend the feelings stirring within him.